Do you want to make amazing, delicious, easy, and fast sourdough? This is probably the fastest, easiest way to make amazing sourdough. So give it a try. We start with 125 grams of starter that's nicely fed and plump. Put that into your mixing bowl. Next, we're going to add 500 grams of flour. So I like to do 400 grams white flour, 100 grams whole wheat. You can play around with those proportions if you like whiter or darker sourdough. You can even add other flours if you want to get crazy down the line. Next, 325 grams of water and 10 grams salt. This next step of mixing the flour is probably one of the steps that actually takes more time than any other. So it takes maybe 5 minutes. All we're gonna do is mix the ingredients so that they're nicely combined using a spatula or a wooden spoon or a dough hook. So getting all of the dry ingredients from the side of the bowl, folding it over, working it through. A little bit of a workout there for your mixing arm. After I've mixed it with the spatula, I like to get my hands dirty, do some work here, dough kneading it out. So simulating a dough hook, grasping from one side all the way to the other, folding the dough. I get to see how the moisture of the dough is. So I don't want it too sticky, also don't want it too dry here. And then after everything is incorporated, I will take a slightly damp cloth and form a ball with the dough, cover it with that cloth, and let it rest for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, pour a bit of water down onto a countertop or a cutting board, and we're going to do slap and folds. So 3 rounds of slap and folds. Each round, 6 slap and folds. So we just slap the dough down, fold it over once. So this is the second one, slap and fold. Do that 5 to 6 times, then cover it with a slightly damp cloth and wait for 30 minutes before moving on to the second and third slap and fold. So all up, that's going to take an hour and a half to slap and fold, and then just let it rest. After the final 30 minutes, we will go ahead and remove the cloth, scrape up the dough, re-wet the surface, and this keeps the dough from sticking to it too much. And we're going to stretch it out, which helps the gluten strengthen. So this step is probably the second longest process, and it again takes 3, 4, 5 minutes, but it is one that is best performed with a bit of patience. It can be a meditative process as you begin to gently pull the dough, creating a stronger gluten and working to identify where the thicker parts are, and just being quite gentle as you stretch and pull the sides. This is creating what bakers refer to as a window pane effect, where the dough is so thin that you can see the light through it. Now don't worry if you happen to get a hole in the batter here. You can always suture it up, pinch it closed, and just use it as a reminder to calm down, work the dough a little bit more patiently. Don't rush, and you're going to find that you have amazing sourdough to enjoy. And it's not just that you have great sourdough, it's that you've made it with your hands, and it's a really fulfilling thing to be able to sit down with a piece of bread, share it with someone, knowing that you've put your time, your hands, your own work into it. Once you feel that the dough is sufficiently stretched, we'll take it from the bottom, stretch it out, and fold it over to the top again on each side to side, fold it over, and then from the top, we'll fold it over twice. And then placing it into a container to rise. So I like to use a transparent container so I can see when it has doubled in size, but you can use a bowl if you don't have something like this. If it's a really warm area that you are in, or summertime, it may take 6 hours to rise. If it is cold, like here in wintertime, it's about 12 degrees inside Celsius, and so I let it sit maybe 10 hours while I sleep, and then do this next step in the morning and bake the dough. However, you get to decide if you want to do a next rise in the fridge to get that sour flavor or go straight to baking. Either way, here I am shaping the dough. So with a floured surface, pour the dough out, flour your hands so that it doesn't stick. I've got my banneton floured as well. If you don't have a banneton, you can, again, just use a large bowl, but fold it over from the bottom to the top, side, 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 and top to bottom. And then where that bottom meets the top, pinch from corner to corner so that the dough is closed off, suturing it shut, and then flip it upside down, and then with your pinky fingers, grasp the dough, pull it under so that you're creating more tension surface area on top of the dough. And then placing it into the banneton. I put it in the Tupperware, or I've used like a plastic bag as well to keep it fresh and from drying out in the fridge. You can also go straight to baking if you don't want to wait overnight. So I let a pot preheat in the oven. My oven goes to 260 Celsius, so about an hour in there, and I know it's really nice and toasty. After that hour, I take my dough, put down some baking paper, gently place the dough onto it with a sharp knife, cut a 45-degree angle slice into the top where the heat will escape when baking. So my pot is super hot. Be so careful, please, not to burn yourself as you carefully place the dough inside your baking vessel. Return the lid to cover it. And I place a baking tray under the pot as it bakes to try to help assure that the bottom isn't going to burn. And then place the dough inside the oven. Set the timer for 20 minutes. This is where the magic of the rise happens. So after 20 minutes, with great anticipation, take the lid off and see the beauty in the rise has occurred, and then let it bake again for 20 more minutes. If you'd like an even crispier, darker crust, try for 25, but check it after 20. And then the magic is done. I have delicious fresh-baked sourdough. Remove it, wait 30 minutes as it cools on a cooling rack before slicing into it, and enjoy your hard work. all the items needed if you'd like to make this delicious sourdough with a list at the end. You'll need some active starter, flour, both white and wheat. The Dutch oven's probably the most crucial and rewarding item on the list, as well as a banneton, which you can get in different shapes to help you form the dough. A digital scale is crucial for measuring to the exact specificity, and a cutting board, nice and large so you can spread the dough, some baking paper, a sharp knife for slicing the top, a dough scraper to help you lift the sticky dough, a cloth. Here's the whole wheat flour that I use, as mentioned previously, both white and whole wheat, a measuring cup, spatula, a stainless steel mixing bowl, and a baker's container for storage. All the links for these items are available in the description below.